Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mayor Fatemi. Getting into our next segment here, we're going to switch gears back over to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm sorry I keep hitting the switcheroo. Let's go this way, then go that way, and then let's go back the other way. It's something I like to do. I like to spice it up a little bit, so I've been trying to do that. If you guys don't like that, please let me know in the comments, and we'll do a little bit better with the organization. It's just something I've been working around with. Or playing around with, I should say, with how I've been building the shows. But when we're discussing this series, we have to it's hard not to think about how the Pacers have been dominating this series. It's felt like so if we go through it, there's been 3 games, there's been 6 halves in this series. It feels like 4 out of the 6 halves of this series have been dominated by the Pacers. First, and funny enough, the first half of game 1 goes to the Knicks. The second half of game 1 all the way to the first half of game 3 all goes to the Pacers. And then second half of game 3 goes to the Knicks. There have been this is why each game has been so close. And every game has mattered in this series because it's always come down to the last play of regulation, the last play of overtime, a simple play before the end of a last little bit of momentum, a bucket here, a bucket there. That's meant the difference for both of these teams in this series. But when we're talking about last night's loss for the Indiana Pacers, does it give you some cause to pause? I'd say yes in a way. And let me explain why. I know the Pacers are incredibly deep, and I know that this series, the longer it goes, the more it plays in the favor of the Indiana Pacers. And I know Karl-Anthony Towns hit some crazy shots last night. Do not get me wrong. Falling away, getting fouled on 3-point shots from way outside, from 30 feet out, being able to hit threes like that, off your back foot, getting fouled, falling to the ground. Not once, not twice, 3 times. I'm pretty sure he did it 3 times, at least 3 times. It's just, you never expect that. And honestly, sometimes you have to just give the luck of the shot to the New York Knicks. But when you're the Pacers and you jump out to a lead like that, you play phenomenal defense the way you did in the second quarter, the way you did in the first half as a whole. Second half to play the way that you did, to collapse in the fourth quarter the way that you did, giving up a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter. And maybe that's just the youth of the Indiana Pacers that's still showing, because at the end of the day, this is still the second playoff run this Indiana Pacers group has been in. This is obviously the most success that they've had in the playoffs in years. But I think last night absolutely gives you cause to pause if you're the Pacers. It shows why you can't get comfortable with this Knicks team, why you can't give the Knicks any room to breathe, because the Knicks are a group. You may say that the Knicks got lucky against the Celtics, but there is one thing that you have to lament about them. It's just unfair if you don't say. The way this team has bounced back from adversity, the way the shot makers on this team, the way that OG Anunoby has stepped up, the way that Karl-Anthony Towns has shot the ball all playoffs long, the way Jalen Brunson has played throughout these playoffs. I know last night was not Jalen Brunson's best performance, but we saw a 45-point performance in game 1. We saw 40 points from Karl-Anthony Towns in game 1. We saw 25 and 25 from Cat last night. We've seen games where Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, and OG Anunoby all go off for 20-plus points. That is when the New York Knicks are at their best. And the biggest thing that I've noticed from this Knicks team is they've found different ways to win games. Whether it's a team game, whether it's more star-studded games, whether it's more individual play, one guy gets hot and the rest of the guys start feeding him the ball or try to scheme him open. There are ways. The Knicks have found ways to win games in these playoffs, and it's the one thing that I'd say a lot that separates them from the rest of the league. I'd say it's the one thing that I've noticed from them that a lot of teams are not doing. A lot of other teams, the Timberwolves built on bully ball, the Thunder built on their depth, the Pacers built on speed and depth. But the Knicks, for whatever reason, they've been able to just go with the flow of things and just keep playing basketball, keep playing, just keep playing as a group with one another. And I think that goes to coaching. That the way that the coaching staff is able to adjust to styles of games is a major aspect of the series. So I think we have to give Tom Thibodeau credit where credit is due. And it's something that's been discussed on this show before. Is this Tom Thibodeau's possibly last season with the New York Knicks? Did game 1 solidify that this was going to be Tom Thibodeau's last season with the Knicks? And honestly, there is a world where Tom Thibodeau now comes back the way he's been able to bring this team as far as he's brought them. I know it's still early. We're still on game 4 of this series. It's 2-1 series. They still have to win another game before we can fully say that the Knicks are back in this series. I still think the Pacers are going to win this series decisively. I think the series is still going to end in 6 games max. And I don't think it's going to be close. I thought the Knicks would win game 4 and then possibly game 5. Game 3 kind of switches everything a little bit because I didn't expect them to win game 3. But with this win, it gives them an opportunity. It definitely gives them a chance. And if you're the Pacers, you can't take this lightly. This is the Eastern Conference Finals. This is a moment for a young team. This is a defining moment for the Indiana Pacers. If the Indiana Pacers are a young team, the same way if you guys can think back to Game 7 between the Thunder and Nuggets. Game 7 between, that series. Even Game 4 and Game 5 in that series as well. The way that those games were deciding moments for the Thunder in a way. This is the same fashion for the Pacers. Pacers, are you going to step up to the plate? Are you going to answer the call? Or are you just going to wilt away? Plain and simple. Are you just going to wilt away and let the Knicks just hand it to you? Just give you another loss and force a Game 6 back in Indiana. Make Game 5 a must-win game for you. Because I promise you, if the Knicks go up 3-2 and win 3 games in a row, this series is over in favor of New York. That's what I'm saying. That last night's loss was pretty bad for especially the way that the Pacers played. It's a little bit of a deflating loss because the Pacers played their heart out in that second quarter and collapsed in the fourth. But I'm still giving them the edge in this series. I think that the Pacers still have the edge. I still think that they are the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. And I think that they will be. They will be until these playoffs are over, I think. Until they lose, until somebody can beat them decisively 4 out of 7 times, I don't think you can count them out. Even if it's 3-2, I'm not 100% counting out the Pacers, but I'm still. You know what I'm saying. I know you guys know what I'm saying. But when we're discussing the series, we have to give the Pacers credit where credit is due. That's all I'm saying. And we have to give the Knicks credit where credit is due throughout these playoffs. Because this has been a different Knicks team that we've seen all regular season long. This is probably the best New York Knicks team I've seen play basketball in the playoffs. Maybe ever. Because I'm 22 years old. I've only seen them from 2003 when I was born to now. And even then, what's the best version of the Knicks that we've seen? Carmelo Anthony. This is their first conference finals in 25 years. That was before I was born. So that's all I have to say. I'm doubting the Knicks because I haven't seen an insane Knicks team in my lifetime. I've seen video of them from back in the day with Patrick Ewing going up against Jordan. I've seen videos of Walt Frazier and Downtown Freddie Brown back in the day in the 70s. There are videos of those out there, but that's not real life. That is not what we're seeing right now. This is why I said this is the Knicks' best opportunity since 1971 to win a finals. I said it before this series started. There's still a clip of it on YouTube somewhere on this page. But yeah, this is about the New York Knicks. This is about the Indiana Pacers game 4. And yes, the Pacers have to come out and win game 4 like it's a must-win game, or else you're in a world of trouble going back to New York, because New York will be ready to go. New York, Madison Square Garden would be so unbelievably loud for game 5 if this was a 2-2 series going back to New York. I don't even want to imagine it. So we'll see how this series goes, but that's all my take on it. And this segment also dragged on a little bit. I apologize for that. But I'm going to take one last short break. Coming up next, this is my segment of the show where I switch gears off of the playoffs and I either go off season or I go another league, college basketball, WNBA, something like that. This time around, we're staying in the theme of the off season. We're going to discuss the Boston Celtics situation right now. Jaylen Brown still considering getting off-season knee surgery on his partially torn ACL when he ended the regular season or ended the playoffs with a partially torn ACL. It was a big reason why we didn't know at the time, but there were reports that Jaylen Brown was getting treatment on his knees before the playoffs to kind of strengthen that knee up. But yeah, he didn't play the end of the regular season. He got that treatment, and now it's being announced that he has partially torn ACL. We'll discuss what's next for him as well as the rest of the team in general. Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, etc. with the offseason that's set up for the Boston Celtics. But you're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.